Welcome back to your portfolio. Let's go to Atlanta. Welcome Ed Haskell of Macon, Georgia. He joins us from our NBC affiliate, WXIA. I bet nobody's ever called you Eddie Haskell before, have they?
Well, Bill, if I had $1 for every time I've heard that, I wouldn't need to be on the show.
You wouldn't have to go to 40. You could have gone earlier, right?
That's right. That's right.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Debbie will be with us shortly as well. Also with us tonight, Hank Schmelzer, the president and CEO of the New England Family of Funds based in Boston. Now, he's taken a close look at the Haskell's portfolio. He's come up with a number of recommendations on how they can retire by age 40. It won't be easy, but here is where the Haskells stand at the moment. Ed and Debbie want to be able to cool their heels, so to speak, with $750,000 to $1 million within the next 5 to 6 years. Now, simple math tells you the couple is in their mid-30s. Here's how their portfolio breaks out. The Haskells have $52,000 in stock, $10,000 in Series EE savings bonds, more than $200,000 in mutual funds, $13,000 in an IRA, and $75,000 in annuities. They have $3,500 in an interest-bearing checking account, and as you saw in the profile, no debt. No house at all? No plans for a house, Ed?
No, I don't think we're going to be looking at purchasing a house anytime in the near future.
Was that a conscious decision not to buy one so that you could retire early? Was it a quid pro quo kind of a thing?
Well, not really. Being in the military and moving around every 3 or 4 years, it didn't seem to make financial sense for us to buy a house and then have to worry about trying to sell it, and if we couldn't sell it, end up somewhere overseas and trying to manage it from long distance. And I just saw the appreciation in house prices as only being maybe 4 or 5% a year,
yep.
And I thought I could do a whole lot better in investing and have more liquidity doing it that way.
Now let's be specific about this goal we're talking about. You and Debbie want to hang it up at age 40 and not have to work full time again. Is that a realistic way we're putting it here?
That's the basic premise right now. We're going to remain flexible over the next 5 or 6 years, but we want to set that goal of having that asset base so that we can live off the investments and do whatever we want at that point. We may not hang it up completely, but we certainly want to hang it up full time.
Hank, can they do it?
I think they can. I think they've got. I did speak briefly with Ed last night, and I think the possibility is there. They plan to save $55,000 a year for the next 5 to 6 years. That should give them close to $300,000 to put on top of the $300,000 they have now, with compounding and with appreciation of the value of their current assets and the new assets. I'd say they'll have roughly $800,000 at the time they retire.
Given the state of actuarial tables now and our life expectancy, is it realistic, though, for them to expect to live off of that nest egg without full-time employment for the next, 40 years practically, huh?
I think it's ambitious. There's no question about it. And one of the questions, in fact, that I would have is, do they have a real good idea about what their retirement needs will be? I know that they've said that they'd like to travel. I know there's a rule of thumb that says when one retires at age 65, which most of us think about retiring at that age, they really should think that you're going to be receiving about 70% of your pre-retirement income on a retirement package. Now, and that's normally when people retire, they're sort of slowing down the pace of their living, and they're going to be picking up the pace of theirs. So I think it's important that they have a real good idea, a real good handle on what their retirement needs will be after they hit that 40 date.
Okay. Hey, Ed, you really did swap financial statements before you got married? Is that how it worked?
Basically, yeah. We wanted to maximize our contributions and 403Bs and make sure that we covered our taxes.
Is that when you made the decision? Is that when you made the decision, the two of you, or when did this 40-year-old retirement evolve?
Oh, only in the past probably 2 years. We didn't anticipate 5 years ago having this as a goal.
Do you feel like you're sacrificing now? I mean, does it feel like you're sacrificing in order to accomplish this?
Not at all. We take 2 or 3 vacations a year. We don't live an opulent lifestyle, but we do take vacations, and we do kind of things for entertainment that most people do. But we usually shop for value and look around for the best deals, and we're able to put away a lot of money after the paycheck goes out to pay the bills, and there aren't that many bills, so it works out well.
Let's get some recommendations from Hank on this. Some general recommendations. You want them, obviously, to identify their retirement requirements.
Yeah, I think that's true. And then from that, they've got to determine what the financial plan is that they're going to put in place to meet those retirement needs. I think that they're pretty well positioned now. Really, they are. I was a captain in the Army for 2 years myself, and the last thing in the world I ever would have dreamed about was being able to retire at age 40. I think I might have missed the boat, so I think it's good for them to look at it on this basis.
Absolutely. Specifically, let's go to the specific recommendations in the interest of time. Focus on equities, which they seem to be doing right now anyway.
They do. They've got a real focus on equities. They might even have a little larger focus on equities. They've got about 30% of their portfolio in fixed income securities at this time. I think it might be better to have less in fixed income securities.
Also, I noticed in the breakdown of their mutual funds, which we didn't show, a lot of international funds. You say rebalance that.
Right. They've got about 46% of their holdings at this stage of the game in international mutual funds for the most part. Mutual funds are a great product, and you get some diversification through that alone. But I don't believe they've got a big enough presence in the U.S. market. The U.S. market constitutes 40% of the world market overall. I'd say they probably ought to have a bigger position.
You say that to maximize their contributions to the retirement plans. They seem to be already.
They seem to be right on the mark on that one, exactly.
And then consider the tax implications of the various products. Are you talking about the munis that they're buying, or what?
I think the tax implications of their income. Tomorrow is the biggest tax day in the world. I guess it's not a bad time to think about that tonight for all of us. They've got variable annuities. I think the variable annuity might be the way to go because they can have equities in their variable annuities and they can have appreciation on the equity side on a tax-free basis. You don't want to have too big a position in variable annuities because they're not as flexible as mutual fund or common stock holdings.
Okay. Hey, Ed, you think you can pull this off, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead.
Oh, I don't see it as being too much of a problem because I think long-term you're going to get 10-12% on equities, and I plan to stay in equities for the long term even after the next 5 years.
Okay. Very good. Listen, thanks for joining us. We're going to bring Debbie out, and folks, they're not fighting like Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley. We just had, for technical reasons, couldn't have them on together. But we'll have Debbie out here in a minute. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
All right, Ed Haskell there. And when we come back, we'll take your questions as